With plenty of conventional weapons in the Fallout series, it's easy to gloss over any of the unconventional ones, such as the dart gun from Fallout 3, the junk jet from Fallout 4, or today's weapon being the compliance regulator from Fallout New Vegas. That's why today I wanted to ask if you can beat Fallout New Vegas using only the compliance regulator. So, I'm going to use the whole intro segment at Doc Mitchell's house to kind of go over what exactly the compliance regulator is. It's a modified version of the laser pistol, a unique found in the Honest Hearts DLC that does very little damage, coming in at a whopping 8 damage, but it has the nice effect of paralyzing enemies for 10 seconds on a critical hit, which actually makes it a pretty strong weapon if you use it as a sort of sidearm by paralyzing enemies and then swapping to something more powerful to finish them off with. That's not what we're going to be doing today though. We're going to be using it to kill people. So I stopped by Chet's to grab some ammo since there's not a whole lot of energy cells in Honest Hearts, which I'm going to be going to for the second time this week, and headed off to start the DLC so that I could pick up the weapon. Now, I don't actually have to complete the DLC, I'm going to be doing it as quickly as possible, just beelining to the weapon, picking it up, and then getting out as quick as I can. So first things first, I ran past all the white legs since I can't actually fight them right now as I don't have the compliance regulator. God follows Chalk so that he could follow me around, as I'm pretty sure you can't really do a whole lot with him here, and made it to the Fallen Rock Cave, which is where the compliance regulator is. After nearly getting my legs blown off and finding a recharger pistol, which is not what I'm looking for, I found the compliance regulator sitting behind a box along with some ammo to go with it, which I would actually need to get out of the DLC. My first encounter with it, you can see how weak overall the gun is, but it does knock people down and cause them to just kind of sit there. So I headed straight for Daniel's camp and started slaughtering everyone because this is the quickest way to get out of Honest Hearts without actually doing the DLC. Nobody here put up much of a fight, not even Daniel, but I was nearly out of ammo by this point, even though I had started with nearly 300 energy cells, so I finished the DLC and headed back to the Mojave so that I could start playing through the base game with only the compliance regulator. Of course, as soon as I got here, I got harassed by some NCR deserters right outside, and went to North Vegas Square for some reason to start killing people. Not entirely sure why I went here, I just did, and headed off to the Silver Rush so that I could start stocking up on ammo. Now, you'll notice that I'm probably going to be buying a whole lot of every type of energy ammo, and the reason is you can convert microfusion cells and electron charge packs to energy cells at a workbench. So I grabbed pretty much anything I could get my hands on and spent a little bit restocking here so that I could get some ammo, as I would need pretty much every bit I could get this run. With a solid 1,400 energy cells in my pocket, I headed off to start my adventure. Gene Skydiving was my first stop on the way to Hidden Valley because I would need to mark it for later. The powder gangers went down pretty easily and they were some good experience early on, so I headed off towards Hidden Valley because I would need that for later, and obviously got into fights with a puppy, as usual for any of my Fallout runs, as well as some more powder gangers on the way that thought that a melee weapon would be a good choice to fight a laser pistol with. It was not. In Hidden Valley, I spent some time killing some of the bark scorpions so that I could get an easy level up, as well as decided to fight the centaurs, which actually went a lot easier than I was expecting. The compliance regulator seems to do pretty good damage to the centaurs, as they don't really have anything in the way of damage resistance. I also decided I was going to fight Tabitha, which was actually going to be a struggle until I got a nice paralysis on her and knocked her over, which trivialized the fight. That really goes to show the strength of the compliance regulator, basically making any fight a cakewalk as soon as you paralyze an enemy. One-on-one anyway, and we'll get to that later, don't you worry. After some fights with some Vipers near the El Dorado substation, and fighting, of course, more ants. Actually, wait, more ants? I never fight ants in these runs, for some reason. I don't know why I decided to stop and test out the compliance regulator on bugs that serve no purpose, but, you know, experience is experience. And I got bullied by some more Vipers, because of course I did. I also watched some Legion recruits fight more Vipers, which was kind of amusing to see the Legion get their ass kicked by Vipers, and then probably almost shit myself when a huge group of Vipers started harassing me. I nearly died here a couple times, but after all of them were dead, I started heading off towards Freeside again. Except for the part where I traded with a merchant that was on fire. That was weird. And then a group of fiends came out of the building right there, and I ran away and started firing at them, trying to paralyze as many as I could so that I could focus on them. Sadly, the merchant didn't make it. I also killed some wasteland legend outside of Freeside because I wanted his armor, and headed off to start slaughtering the... Of course, with them not having much in the way of armor, they didn't really put up much of a fight. Not even Rex, who, again, for some reason went down really easily, even though it showed that he was resisting the damage. Not entirely sure why he took so much damage from the compliance regulator, but I killed all the kings outside, and then of course bonked old Ben in the face with a laser, because he deserves death. I also shot the Securitrons, which was kind of concerning, but after putting my weapon away, they let me live. I rushed immediately to Gomorrah to start killing all the Omertas inside, because I figured that I would need them dead anyways for whoever's questline I decided to apply later on in the playthrough. Spoiler alert, it's the NCR. I'm siding with the NCR. Then it was off to the tops to deal with Shrimp Dick Benny, who I had Swank send up to his room so that I could boop him in the back of the head, so that he didn't really feel anything. Outside, I of course killed Vulpes because he was in my way, and then immediately got talked to go deal with Ambassador Crocker. That is not what I did. I went off to go kill Mr. House because I would need to do that anyways. So I popped into Mr. House's chamber and shot him with the laser shell, which was nice because I didn't have to sit through the goddamn Securitron upgrade video this time. Happy that I didn't have to sit through the Securitron video, I went out and started slaughtering the locals, those being fiends that were strong because of metal armor, and that is not good for laser weapons. Making it to the boomers, it seems Pearl had an accident and dislocated her hip, and I also managed to kill Raquel while I was in there because I wanted her combat armor for easy repairs for my own combat armor that I was currently wearing. Outside, the boomers were actually stronger than I expected this time as they managed to cripple my limbs, so I went off and started selling stuff so that I could restock on ammo and stim packs, as I was not excited for what was up next, but we'll get to that later. So I spent a whole lot of time restocking ammo here. I was here for about 45 minutes, but by the time I was done, I had enough ammo for the rest of the run, sitting at nearly 2,500 rounds, and it was off to use some of that to slaughter the Great Khans. It was pretty scary when I got put in the corner. I did not enjoy being in the no-no corner with a whole bunch of people fisting me or putting, bullets in my body. I was not okay with it. But with that done, I went over to Ambassador Crocker, and he didn't really have any quests for me since all the quests that he gave me I had already completed beforehand. So he sent me off to Cassandra Moore, who didn't really have any quests for me either, except for one, dealing with the Brotherhood. And boy, oh boy, the Brotherhood was fun this run. This very well may be the hardest fight I've ever had with the Brotherhood, as the compliance regulator does absolute jack shit for damage, and it was pretty much a game of just paralyzing people and then pumping round after round after round into their head until everyone stopped moving. So here's the thing. When you have like 12 paladins assaulting you, all in power armor, there's not a whole lot you can do when you get trapped in a room and everyone's just filling you up with damage. The power of editing makes this not look too bad, but I was in here for nearly 45 minutes and going through nearly 400 energy cells before I was able to clear the Brotherhood and blow up the bunker. Now I know what you're thinking, but the math doesn't add up. Well, I also picked up a shit ton of ammo in there, so I headed back to Hoover Dam and it was time to help the president. So normally I just tell Ranger Grant that there was a bomb on the president's vertibird, which is what I always do, except I had to do it twice because the first time I accidentally pulled out my gun and the NCR shot me. The second time, after I told him, nothing happened. I sat here for about half an hour waiting for the president to leave. He never did. So after reloading another save and sitting here for about another 10 minutes for some reason because he didn't want to leave again, I waited and the quest finally completed itself. Not entirely sure what happened there, but I was off to talk to General Oliver. And then the Legion invaded the dam, and I had to protect my ass cheeks from all the Centurions that wanted to touch me with their melee weapons. The Legion also body blocked me as soon as I went through a door for some reason. I'm not sure why they all spawned on top of me, as there was no Legion following me there, but they just were there when I arrived. Still trying to process that. That was really terrifying. But outside, the NCR helped me make quick work of the other Centurions because I could just paralyze them, and then the NCR troops or the veteran rangers later on would help me just finish them off, so I didn't have to waste as much ammo here. Inside the Legate's camp, the guards weren't too bad. They had about as much health as a Brotherhood member, but the Legate himself was actually truly disappointing. I'd convinced him to fight me one-on-one, where he immediately got paralyzed, and then it was just a matter of him sitting on the ground for about 30 seconds while I kept pumping him full of laser shells. Yeah, he did not survive very long. The Legate took maybe 15 seconds to die, and then General Oliver arrived, and with that, I had beat Fallout New Vegas with only the compliance regulator. I actually really enjoyed using this weapon. As bad as it is, it was such a fun gimmick weapon. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below, and I appreciate you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. Except that's not the end. I'm actually going to use a minute to self-plug here. I'm going to link my Twitch in the description. I play Fallout alongside some other games over there, and it would be cool if any of you guys ever just wanted to show up and hang out. Not sure if any of you know that I stream, but I figured I would throw it in one of the videos just in case. So, you know, selfless plug, guys. I'm sorry, but I kind of had to. I've thought about live streaming a couple of the challenge runs over there. Obviously, I'll still edit them into videos for YouTube, but, you know, if anyone ever wanted to watch, like, full entire playthroughs of it, you know, it might be fun to do that once in a while. But yeah, also if you could consider subbing, that would be awesome. We are 9 subs away from 500, which is absolutely insane. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to the whole crazy self-plug, but I appreciate it, and have a wonderful day.